Hello there! In today's video I'll show you how I created the first boss for my game. I'll focus mostly on the AI and how the attack and phase systems work. But before we jump into today's topic, the first release of my game is already available on itch.io, so feel free to check it out if you have a few spare minutes. And now, let's get right into it. After creating the model in Blender and creating some animations, I imported our bad boy into Unreal Engine, fixed up the materials, and created a child class of my general enemy class, and put our model as the skeletal mesh. That way the boss gets a lot of functionality such as HP, collision, and lock-on system in just a few minutes. But the boss isn't just some generic enemy. He needs special attack logic and patterns, unique movement, and also an HP bar. I want the boss to have multiple phases based on how much HP he's got left, so the HP bar is actually quite important, since it will tell me if the other systems are working fine. I implemented a simple HP bar widget and made sure it actually works. And now it was time to add some attacks. Just like in my previous combat video, I used an animation montage to split the animation into multiple different attacks, and I also used montage notifies and some blueprint logic to make sure that some parts of the attack are only played if the boss has the correct amount of HP left. For example, for the heavy attack, the boss will only do it once if he has over 50% HP, twice if he has between 50 and 25%, and 3 times if he has less than 25% health left. It's a super simple system that lets me implement boss phases very easily. Then I created a blackboard and behavior tree for my boss, just like I did for normal enemies a while back. Except the boss uses his own behavior tree with customized logic to make this fight stand out from simple enemies. First, we have the death node, which overrides all other nodes, since when the boss dies, all other actions aren't important anymore. At that point, I started working on the attack nodes. All attacks are triggered using the same node. It takes the animation montage section name as a variable, which allows me to pick a specific attack without creating multiple tasks. As for the node itself, it just plays the specified animation montage section with the specified play rate, and when it meets a montage notify that I mentioned before, it either stops or keeps playing, depending on the boss's HP. Using the play rate as a variable will let me control the speed at which the attack is played, which is useful to make combat phases feel more different from each other. The boss has 4 attacks: a distance attack of him chucking a fireball at the player, a backwards attack of him jumping away from the player while creating an area of effect attack, a regular attack where he's just swinging a pickaxe around, and a big heavy AoE attack. Each attack has its own distance at which it can be performed and a cooldown, so that the player always has an opportunity to attack. Another thing you can see here is actually the lack of a node that would rotate the boss to the player. That's because this is handled by the animation montage too. That way I have precise control over when the boss should stop tracing the player's location to allow the player to actually dodge the attacks by moving to the sides. Without that little feature, it would be almost impossible to dodge the fireball and completely impossible to dodge the regular and backwards attacks by moving sideways, which would lead to an unsatisfying boss fight. Applying damage is also handled by the animation montage, at least partially. Based on the attack type, we want the collision to happen on different parts of the mesh. So I created an animation montage notify that triggers an event in the boss character class. Then I have different logic running for each attack, which gives me a lot of control over each attack's effects, without creating a lot of resources. So, let's go over the attack inputs flow once again. Our behavior tree sends a signal to play a section of the animation montage. Then the montage informs the boss class that an attack took place and which attack it was. And then the boss class itself runs some code based on the attack type. It's a very flexible system with just a few resources that must be created. At this point we've got an enemy that can attack us, and his attacks have different versions based on the combat phase. But before we polish up the phase system, let's add some movement. The movement system is very simple. When the player is close, the boss will move directly to them. If not, he might either circle the player or move towards them at a slow pace. I know that in the previous video I said I wouldn't be adding circling, but I decided that my bosses do deserve the extra effort after all. For both circling and normal movement, I'm using a node that constantly rotates the boss to the player, which gives our boss really good player tracking. And now that our boss can move, let's finish up the phases. At this point, with all the tools I have created before, implementing phases comes down to copying and pasting. I just copy an attack, add a condition that HP ratio has to be below a certain threshold, and boom, phase implemented. And that's why it's important to think about the system's design before developing it. I can also change attack speed and cooldowns, which I did for a few attacks. I did the same to the movement system, and now when the boss is at full health, he moves very slowly and prefers circling the player over engaging them. When his HP hits 50%, he will start favoring moving towards the player, but still slowly. Once he gets below 25%, he starts aggressively pursuing the player and only slows down and circles every once in a while, so that the player still has an opportunity to heal. With decreased cooldowns and faster movement and attacks, he actually becomes quite dangerous in the last phase. For now he goes down in a few attacks, but I can easily and safely change his max HP anytime I want, since I use ratio checks over direct value checks. As you can see, in this case programming the boss wasn't too difficult, since it's just a regular enemy on steroids. The most difficult parts were definitely creating the animations in Blender and the Niagara particle effects. But that's all for today. See ya!